Hi, I'm Noah McLain Philpot, and this is ArtStream with the Lane Arts Council. So today we're going to be working on shadow puppets and silhouettes. Now, a silhouette is a kind of art where you focus on the outline and the shape, and it's usually held up against a light-colored background. Shadows are a perfect example of silhouettes, but here are some paper silhouettes that I've made. And we're going to be working on making some little things kind of like this. Here we have a boy and its dog, and I'm going to show you how we can do all that kind of cool stuff. Now, before we get started, let's have a little imagination exercise, all right? This will help us tune into our bodies and put everything else aside and just think about our creative self and what we're going to do today. So take a deep breath, close your eyes, and imagine that you are a tree. Reach your branches high up into the sky. Feel the sun landing on your leaves and pull the warmth of the sun all the way down through your branches, through your trunk, and down into your roots. Deep in the earth, your roots are drinking up the water, and they're pulling water up through your trunk, out your branches, and out to your leaves and releasing that water into the sky. Feel the sun come down, feel the water move up, flowing through you. It's a great way to relax and to focus and to expand our imaginations. All right, imagine that tree is inside you. Open your eyes and let's get started. So to do the art we're going to do today, we need a few supplies. Over here, I've got all of this stuff lined up. So here we have our essentials. We're going to need some tape. We're going to need pencil or markers or pens. And we're going to need some scissors. And we're going to need some sort of stick. It could be popsicle sticks or pencils or straws or just about anything. I like using bamboo skewers. They're a little sharp on the end. So parents, if you're concerned about that, you could break that tip off or cover it with some tape or something like that. And we have a few extra things that aren't essential, but can help us. I've got a cookie cutter. Now, cookie cutters are great for making silhouettes because it already has an outside shape built in. And you can trace that with a pencil or a ballpoint pen and get some wonderful shapes to make silhouettes out of. I try not to use markers with cookie cutters, though, because I don't want to leave marker all over that, because who wants a cookie that has marker marks all over it? All right, another option for tracing silhouettes is toys. This cute little deer here would make an excellent silhouette. So I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Hole punches aren't necessary, but they're really good for making eyes for creatures. So like here's a dinosaur I made with a cookie cutter, and I used the hole punch to punch a hole in it for the eye, because it's really hard to cut out small circles like that. So hole punches work better for that sort of thing. And last but not least, you're going to need a flashlight. Now, any old flashlight will do. It works best if there's just a single light source. And like headlamps sometimes have 5 or 6 lights on them. Those don't work as well because it kind of scatters the shadows. You get more than one shadow, and that doesn't work as well. So a single LED or directional lamp will work better than a multi-LED headlamp. Let's get started. I'm going to clear this stuff out of the way so that we have a little bit of extra workspace. Now, when I am making shadow puppets, I like to use recycled materials as much as I can. The things that work best are boxes from packaging. So here I've got some dark chocolate brownie mix, yum, yum, yum. Another kind of box that works great is pizza boxes. Awesome. And cereal boxes as well. These all are the perfect kind of cardboard for this project because it's thin and easy to cut and still stiff enough that your shadow puppet won't flop around. Now, when I'm separating this, rather than just cutting it open, I like to use my finger and split right along the seam, just like that. And then open here, like so. And then I can lay the cardboard flat. Okay, so we're going to cut off a few of these rough edges here, just so I have a nice flat surface to work with. There we go. And I'll do the same on this side. since I've got a bunch of these extra boxes laying around, I'm going to choose one of my recycled cereal boxes, and I'm going to put all of my scraps right in there as soon as I make them, and that way my workspace is nice and clean. So I'm going to start by drawing some shapes onto this cardboard. Now, a lot of times when we draw the image in the middle of the page. But for making silhouettes, it's actually better to draw on the edge of the page because it's much, much easier to cut from the edge than it is to cut to the center. I'm going to use a marker here. If you're using markers, it might be best to put a piece of paper or cardboard underneath just to keep the markers from marking up the table beneath you. Let's see, what am I going to draw for my first silhouette? I think I am going to draw a funny alien. So my funny alien, he's going to have big feet like that. And he's going to be very skinny. And he's going to have long arms. Now you can draw whatever kind of creature you would like. You don't have to draw an alien. That's just what I'm doing. My alien is going to have a very big head. Let's give him a big head like this. There we go. That's a pretty cool looking alien. Now, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut him out. It's a little easier to cut out details if we start just by cutting out the whole shape like that. That way, we can move the paper around and get to those lines a lot more easily. Here we go. I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna worry too much about following my lines exactly because some of these parts on this alien are a little skinny and that might make my puppet a little too floppy. So I'm gonna make the actual cutout a little bit thicker than my drawing. Now, if you want to add a lot of detail to your drawing, you can, but be aware that silhouettes only show the outside shape, the outline of your drawing, and any detail that you add inside the lines isn't going to show up in silhouette. Now, I do like to decorate my puppets once I get one that I like, just to have them be more beautiful and fun to work with. So feel free to decorate however you want, but do realize that those decorations might not show up in silhouette. Okay, almost done with this guy here. Notice I'm keeping my fingers back from the scissors just so that I don't cut myself. And there. That is a very funny looking little alien. I'm going to use my hole punches now to give him some eyes. We're going to give him 2 big eyes. There we go. Just like that. That is a very silly looking alien. He'll be perfect. What else? Oh, aliens need a spaceship. So I'm going to cut a spaceship out of this too. Here we go. I'm going to get my marker and I'm going to draw a spaceship. Let's see. I'm going to turn it this way because my alien needs a big spaceship. He's going to have a flying saucer. There we go. And there's the cockpit where the alien sits, like that. We don't need a lot of detail, but just some basic shapes that suggest the idea of what it is we're trying to create. Shadow puppets, they're not like life drawings, they're more like symbols. So if you create a symbol that looks kind of like the thing you want, it's perfect for making shadow puppets with. Here we go. All right. Now, you can make as many different shadow puppets and different characters as you would like. I made a few in advance to save time. So here we go. We've got our alien, and then we've got over here, I've got a couple of extras. I have a dog. That's going to be fun. And I have a boy. And I have a shooting star or a meteorite. Those are all going to be pretty cool, and we can use them in our show. Okay, so what else? Oh, I know. Shape too. Here we are. I'm going to draw my moon. Let's do a crescent moon, because crescent moon is easy to identify. When you see that shape, you know it's the moon. Cut on close to those lines. Doesn't have to be perfect because it's shadow puppets. And the shadows, you'll notice, change shape quite a bit compared to the original shape that you started working with. Now notice on these guys, I've already stuck the sticks to them. Let's go ahead and put sticks onto our 3 new shadow puppets here. All right, so when I put my stick on, I'm going to line it up so it's kind of hidden. And I'm going to use just a small amount of tape to stick it to it. It's best if the tape doesn't hang over the edge too much because you don't want to see the tape. But I realize that sometimes the tape is wider than the puppet, and you can just fold it under and around like that. There we go. That should work. That way I can hold the puppet from far away. And let's see, we're going to stick this spaceship here. It doesn't matter if the stick goes on the side or the front or the top. It just depends on how you're going to be using your puppet and holding your puppet as to where you would like the stick to attach. Sometimes it's better to have the stick go off to the side. Sometimes it's better to have it go off to the top. When I'm using a big puppet like this, sometimes I like to use 2 pieces of tape and put them on in a cross shape like so. And that really helps to hold the stick in place. It's harder to do on the smaller puppets like this guy, though. There's not really enough room for an extra piece. Here's my moon. Let's do that. And then we're going to move on to actually playing with these shadow puppets. That is the most fun part of this whole project, is to explore and play with these things, because that's why we're making them. All right, so I'm going to take my flashlight, test it out. Good batteries. Yeah, that seems to work pretty good. I'm going to prop it up over here so it points at the wall. And as you can see, I've got a little tree that I cut out before. That helps me to make my scene. I've got my moon. The moon is in there to show that this is nighttime. So let's see. I could probably put that right there. Yeah. I'm going to use a little bit of tape, and I'm going to tape that moon to the table. Just like that. And tilt it the right way. There we go. So it's nighttime in the forest. And let's find a couple of our puppets. Let's say, here we go. We've got the boy and the dog. They're on a camping trip. They're outside in the woods, having a lot of fun. There we are. You can see the boy and the dog are out playing around. Now notice that the farther away from the flashlight I get, the smaller the puppets become. And the closer to the flashlight I get, the bigger the puppets become. So if you want them to run from far away and run up close, they can do that. Isn't that cool? Now pay attention to the shadows. Right now I know you can see the puppets here and you can see the shadows here. Notice that the shadows look a lot cleaner. They're a lot of the tape is hidden, and the colors that were on the cardboard, they all just kind of disappear. And that's one of the really cool things about shadow puppetry, is a lot of the details are hidden. And so you can do all kinds of fun stuff. Now let's make them have a dance party. Yeah, so much fun. And he can even pet his dog. He can come over here like this. Good boy. It's a good puppy. Very good dog. So the boy and his puppy are out in the forest, and they're having a great time. And suddenly they see a shooting star. It crashes into the ground. Whoa! The kid and the dog are amazed, and they decide they're going to go check it out. When they arrive, they discover a spaceship, and the alien inside was kind of upset. His brand new spaceship was all banged up. This is terrible. Oh no. So the boy, it can be a little tricky to juggle this many puppets at a time, but we'll see what we can do. The boy offers to help the alien repair his spaceship. Wow, I see that you're having some trouble there. I've got some tools. Let me help. The alien is very impressed by how friendly Earthlings are. And together, they work to repair the spaceship. Finally, the alien has fixed the spaceship, and he decides that he's going to take the boy and the dog for a ride. They all climb in the spaceship, and they fly, all the way up to the moon. They get out of the spaceship, and they have a party on the moon. Woo! They fly back down to Earth. The alien drops off his friend and then flies away. The boy and his dog had the best adventure ever. The end. There we go. We made a cool puppet show just out of some scraps of cardboard and sticks and tape. We created some cool creatures just with scissors and tape and hole punches. And that is cool. That's all you need to make a beautiful shadow puppet show. Great job. You all have done wonderful. I want to encourage you to keep making new shadow puppets and new creatures and come up with as many different show ideas as you can. This can be so much fun, and it's a great way to entertain yourself without the use of modern technology. All you need is a flashlight or a sunbeam or a lamp. It is so easy to do this. Some of my friends recently got snowed in up in Portland, and their power was out for days and days. And when your power's out, that means there's no movies, there's no cartoons, there's no video games. So they had to come up with ways to entertain themselves. And shadow puppets are a great way to do that. You can tell stories with your friends and family and have a good time. All right, so take a moment, put your hands in your lap, straighten your back, and close your eyes. Remember the amazing shadow puppets that you just made. And take a moment to think about what your favorite puppet was. Let's decide over the next few days what kind of show we'd like to create using that shadow puppet. In our next class, we're going to be building a shadow puppet theater box out of a cereal box. That's a really cool project because you can keep all of your shadow puppets inside it to keep them safe. All right, thanks for tuning in. You can come back and visit us again and check out other artists and their amazing art projects. And I'll be back on Friday to complete this shadow puppet making course. And thanks a lot for being here. And keep looking for different shapes and silhouettes and things that you can use to make a cool shadow puppet show. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Noah McLain Philpot, and this is ArtStream.